Am I the a-hole for inviting my neighbor's husband over for coffee and a play date? His wife accused me of pursuing him, and my husband thinks that she was right to confront me. I cannot read these unhinged Reddit stories alone, so you're coming along with me.
Get in, loser.
About a year ago, a couple, Emily, female 30s, and Jake, male 30s, moved into the house next to ours. We are also in our 30s. Emily and I were both pregnant at the time, with due dates a few weeks apart. We would run into each other in the neighborhood or out on the street and eventually became friendly. We texted occasionally to check in on each other during our pregnancies, and our husbands became friends as well. For some context, Emily had a difficult pregnancy and was on bed rest for the last month of her pregnancy before she gave birth. They moved away from their support system for Jake's job, and they didn't have any family nearby, so I would sometimes drop off meals when I was cooking for my own family. Bless you, you little angel. Emily had her baby about a month before I had mine. After the babies were born, we didn't see much of each other. I invited her a few times to go for walks with the babies, but she always declined, saying that the baby was fussy or napping. I figured she was just overwhelmed as a first-time mom. Our husbands continued to see each other occasionally during this time. Last week, I was out walking my baby when I ran into Jake, who was also out walking the baby. We ended up walking together and chatting for about 30 minutes. Our chat did not include anything personal. We talked about our babies, our jobs, our summer plans. When we got back to our street, the babies had woken up, so we all passed my house, and I asked if he wanted to come in for a coffee and let the babies play together. He thanked me for the invite and declined, saying that he needed to get home because he had errands to run. A few days later, Emily invited me over for a play date. I accepted and even offered to bring some food for the babies because she had mentioned being nervous about introducing non-pureed foods. While the babies were playing, she suddenly said, "Jake told me you went for a walk together last week." I said, "Yes, we ran into each other while out with the babies." She then asked, "Why did you invite him back to your house?" I was caught off guard and I tried to explain that the babies had woken up and I had meant it as a play date. She responded that she didn't know what I was playing at, but her husband was off limits and uninterested in case I had any ideas. How uncomfortable. When you think you're just like doing something very platonic and nice. Like, girl, no, I don't want your man. I was in shock, so I froze up for a couple of minutes. When I was able to respond, I told her it was bizarre that she would interpret a walk with her husband and an invitation for coffee and a baby play date as anything other than innocent. I also told her that my husband was working from home that day and was inside the house. I also said that I hope she heals from whatever happened in her life that made her view something so innocent as a threat. She laughed in my face and said, "Rich coming from you. Just because your husband treats you like dirt doesn't make it okay for you to go after my husband." No more food for you. My jaw dropped and I just picked up my baby and left. I effing hate myself for not giving her a piece of my mind and leaving without saying anything. But I felt like I had just been slapped. My husband and I have been having some serious issues. When I got home, I told him what happened and I asked if he had said anything about our problems to Jake. He swore that he hasn't, but I am not sure I believe him because how else would Emily know anything? Right, he totally has. He's totally told Jake things. My husband then said that Emily was right, that it was inappropriate to invite Jake in, and my husband is now mad at me over the whole thing. Am I the a-hole? What? What's happening? Am I tripping? I feel like your husband might be reacting this way because you guys are having some issues, so he's feeling a little vulnerable and insecure on where you stand, so maybe he's reading into like, you have feelings for this guy? Maybe there's issues in their marriage you don't know about. We have an edit, which is an update on the same post, and it's one sentence. "I discovered my husband was cheating on me 2 months ago." So, that's the marital problems that we are having. That's rich for him to get mad at you for, you know, the irony in that. Edit number 2 though. I'm going through some of the comments and I think I may have not explained this part well. Emily didn't avoid hanging out with me or us. The 4 of us with our kids and their baby have spent time together on multiple occasions. We would go to the park, we would have them over, they had us over, but it's always been the 4 of us and the kids. My older child really likes Emily and Jake. They have always been nice to us. Jake and my husband hang out together alone sometimes, but Emily has always had a reason not to hang out with me alone. The other day when she invited me over was the first time we had had a solo play date for the babies. All right, so we have the final update here. I'm very curious how this goes. Shortly after my last post, my husband admitted that he had confided in Jake about his infidelity. So he's getting mad at you for asking a guy, a friend, to come in who's also friends with the husband who's home, and you cheated? Annoyed. He said he felt guilty and remorseful and wanted to talk it out with a friend. He claimed he didn't realize Jake would tell Emily and that she would throw our marriage struggles in my face the way she did. He apologized for discussing our issues without my consent and promised to distance himself from them. He also apologized again for the affair, which he swore was over. He told me the affair partner was a coworker who had since left the company. He promised he wanted to change and rebuild our relationship, so I forgave him and I gave him another chance again. Things had been going well. My husband was attentive and loving. He was helping more at home, spending more time with the kids, showing more affection. For a moment, it really felt like my husband had returned to me. In hindsight, though, I thought it was love bombing. Last week, I had a medical appointment that I needed to attend alone, so my husband stayed home with our baby. I was anxious because he had never been alone with the baby for that long, and I wasn't sure he would be able to put him down for his nap. While I was sitting in the waiting room, I logged into our baby camera just to check that the baby had gone down okay. That's when everything began to unravel. If you tell me there's a woman on this camera, I'm gonna throw down. The baby was asleep in his crib and my husband was walking out of the room. Then I heard a woman's voice asking if our baby was finally asleep. My husband replied, confirming that he was. I couldn't see the woman because she was outside the camera's view, but her voice was familiar. I thought it sounded like Emily. I will lose it. I will lose it. After my appointment, I checked our Ring doorbell recordings from the day. There she was. Emily had knocked on our door and my husband let her in minutes after I left for my appointment. She left an hour and a half later. The rage inside my bones. I can't read fast enough. Okay, I was in complete shock. When I got home, I did not confront my husband. I was tired of all his lies and I wanted the truth before saying anything. I went through our doorbell camera history and I found many more instances of Emily coming over while I was gone. In one video, I saw them kissing on our front porch. I need a minute. We need a spin of positivity, you guys. We need it. Not my relationship, not my problem. I saved everything. The next day I messaged Jake and I told him I needed to speak with him because I had bad news about my husband and his wife that I believed he deserved to know. He didn't reply. Shortly afterwards, my husband called me furious. Jake had forwarded my messages to him and warned him that I was trying to frame him and Emily. He went quiet and then ended the call. Later that evening, he came home late and intoxicated. He was angry and blamed me for destroying our lives and for trying to expose the affair. I yelled at him and I said I wanted a divorce. He lost it. Oh boy. Okay, well, to sum it up, because I can't say it, he lost it and got physical with her. Somehow I managed to get away from him. My 4-year-old woke up because of the screaming and commotion, so I grabbed her and ran into the bedroom and locked the door. My daughter was terrified and clinging to me while my husband banged and kicked the door, threatening to break it down. Luckily, I had my phone with me and I called 911. The rest of the night was a blur. My husband was arrested close to midnight on a Tuesday. The entire street woke up to the sirens and confrontation with the police. I was taken to the hospital afterwards because she needed medical attention. Our neighborhood was shocked. We had always been friendly, polite neighbors, and no one expected that this could have happened behind closed doors. I was done protecting my husband's image. He destroyed our life, not me. Amen. When neighbors asked what happened, I told them the truth. He hurt me after I discovered he was cheating on me with Emily. A few days later, Jake reached out to me. He was apologetic and felt responsible for not believing me when I tried to warn him. Jake told me my husband had been confiding in him about our marriage problems. According to Jake, my husband had told him that I was the one who cheated in the past, that I was unstable because of my PPD and PPA, and that I had been hurt. Can't read that. None of this is true. Jake also told me he had confided in my husband about problems in his own marriage. Yeah, the fact that she was cheating on you. Looking back, it seems my husband used those vulnerabilities and information that Jake shared with him to get closer to Emily. After everything happened, I finally called my family and I told them the truth. They knew I had been struggling and distant, but they thought it was because of my PPD. They had no idea how much I had actually been carrying alone. I told them about the affair, the threats, the manipulation, and how scared and exhausted I had become. They are in my corner and they are trying to help me figure out my next steps. I feel like a weight has been lifted off of me, and for the first time in a long time, I don't feel alone. I'm exhausted from that story. I can't imagine how you feel. I'm so sorry that happened to you, but I am so incredibly glad you are out of there. Oh my gosh. It can only be up from here, right? Am I the a-hole for not wanting to pretend to be my twin sister on her wedding day? This is some Mary-Kate and Ashley stuff right here. I, 30 female, have an identical twin sister, and for the purposes of being anonymous, I will call her Jess. Jess and I look so much alike, it can be freaky. At one point, when we were still infants, they had to draw a little dot at the bottom of our feet just so they could keep track of us who was who for medical reasons. My mom adored the fact that Jess and I were her cute baby twin girls and treated us as precious dolls who she would frequently dress alike and always make us do things together. At first, I didn't mind it at all because, well, it was my normal and I do genuinely love my sister. But when we started getting older and I developed my own interest, I would get so frustrated or upset when I either couldn't do something because Jess didn't want to, or the only way I could do it was if Jess could come with me and vice versa. It sucked, but despite our appearances, Jess was the more extroverted twin who liked to go to parties and do sports, while I was introverted and artistic. I was always made to do what Jess wanted to do because me not wanting to be so social was seen as bad, and the only way that Jess would agree to do things and endure my hobbies was if I did her homework or chores. When my parents were divorcing, I was over the moon when my dad agreed to let me live with him in another state. And Jess didn't want to move away from her friends. My mom cried when I had to tell her that I did not want to live with her, and Jess accused me of hating them. This really wrecked me emotionally, and I almost caved, but my dad got me into therapy, who helped me gather the courage to just leave. I never really did shake off the guilt until around senior year of high school, but I never once regretted my choice because of how liberating I felt by getting to be just me. You know, I always grew up wanting a twin. My stepsister and I used to dress up as twins, even though totally look nothing alike. She's a very short, petite, blonde with blue eyes, and I'm me. But we would dress up because we just wanted to be like the Olsen twins so bad. We would tell people we were twins. So funny. I was slowly able to repair my relationship with my mom and Jess, but Jess and I were never as close as we used to be, and I was honestly fine with that. Fast forward to adulthood, and Jess is engaged to her boyfriend, Steve, 36 male, and their wedding is set for spring. Unfortunately, Jess was recently in a bad accident, and her face is going to need to get cosmetic surgery. No. Oh, that's so sad. She has been crying on and off for days over this because there's no way she will be healed up in time for her wedding. My mom, Steve, and I have been trying to console her, but it's not enough. Earlier this week, my mom approached me with the idea of dressing up as Jess and pretending to be her for the ceremony and reception so the pictures will look nice. I was floored and gave a hesitant no, because while I do know that this would mean a lot to my sister, I just feel really uncomfortable about it. My mom was upset with me and said it wasn't a big deal, it was just for pictures, and asked me if I really wanted to make it so that Jess would have to be reminded of her trauma whenever she had to look at her wedding photos, or just not have any photos at all. Am I the a-hole? That is not what I was expecting. Oh my gosh, that is so tricky, but I'm trying to picture me as Jess, but even if I looked at the pictures, I would know that that's my sister posing with my husband and my people. Wow, what a complex situation. I am not qualified for this. We have an edit. Okay, because I've seen this in 2 other comments, I just want to clear up some things. Number 1, Jess and Steve's wedding is booked at their dream venue, and if they postpone, which is in about 3 weeks, they won't be able to book it again until around 2025, and families on both sides are coming from out of state. Number 2, apparently between the wedding costs and needing to save up for the cosmetic surgery, Steve and Jess don't have the money to pay for professional Photoshop. Number 3, we live in America, and as far as I know, Jess's surgery is purely for cosmetic purposes. Health insurance may not cover it, if any at all. And number 4, my mom was the only one who actually approached me about this, so I'm not sure if Jess and Steve even know about this idea. And I'm honestly a little off actually talking to them about this in case they're on board and then they start pressuring me into agreeing to do it. Another edit. Sorry for not clarifying. What my mom is proposing that I do is that I wear Jess's wedding dress and she wears whatever I was going to wear, and then I stand in for her when it's time to walk down the aisle, do the entrance at the reception, first dance, bouquet toss, and photo time. I won't actually be doing the vows, but doesn't she want that moment? Like, I would postpone 2 years personally over having someone else have those moments. It's not for a picture. I want to be in the moment. I want to have that dance. I want to walk down that aisle. You know what I mean? Is it making sense? You can't get that memory back. You can't get that moment. Let me know what you guys think about this. We do have an update though, so we'll see how it plays out. Still dealing with residual guilt about refusing to do things for my mom. So I reached out to Steve first about suggesting Photoshop, and it turns out he and Jess were already considering that before deciding to just postpone the wedding, as Jess is dealing with PTSD from the accident and doesn't believe that she's going to be able to handle the stress of the wedding in 3 weeks. Hallelujah. I was so relieved, and I told Steve that I'd be more than happy to help with getting the word out to people that the wedding isn't happening right now. For the sake of peace and Jess's mental health, I've decided to keep what my mom said about using me as a replacement for the wedding photos to myself for now. Jess is really going through a lot, and I feel like this would be like rubbing salt in the wound. Well, thank God. I personally think that is the best idea, and I think she'll be very happy. In the future, when she gets her dream day and her moment, it'll be so worth it in the end. Bless her. I feel so bad. Next story. My husband told me that he's in love with my sister. I'm pregnant and I don't know why this is happening to me. My sister and I had a crappy life growing up with a passive mother and a harmful stepfather. My sister was my protector and role model since none of the adults were. She tried to shift my stepdad's harmful ways on her when he got drunk so he wouldn't hurt me. When she left for college, she let me stay in her bed while she slept on the floor in her student room the days I managed to run away from home. When I turned 16, she let me move in with her permanently. We never saw our parents again. Oh my gosh. So really, you only had each other. My husband is very similar to my sister. They're both very calm and kind. Both are very intelligent. They have the same sense of humor, love the same music, books, movies, and games. It's like a weird thing that I found the male version of my sister to fall in love with. They get along very well, and that was so important to me because they are my only family. We got married a year ago after 6 years together, and I am 27 weeks pregnant now with our first baby. My sister met her boyfriend, male 30, a year ago. He got along very well with me and my husband, although I always felt like my husband never really liked the guy. When I asked him once why he didn't like him, he just got flustered and told me that he didn't know it was noticeable and apologized. Yeah. I can't hide if I don't like somebody, so you'll never have to guess with me. He told me he just didn't think he was good enough for her. Her boyfriend proposed to my sister last night. We were just having pizzas and they were having beers on my sister's balcony, and the boyfriend just suddenly went down on his knee and took out a ring. She was very surprised but happy all the same, and she said yes. When we went back home, my husband was a little tipsy. He told me he wasn't tired and that he's gonna have one more beer and he was gonna watch TV, and told me that I should go to bed. I went back to the living area and he was sitting there crying. I asked him what's going on, and he told me that he was in love with my sister. He has been for years, but that he knew how wrong it was. He told me that he loved me very much and promised to be a good husband and father to our daughter. He slept on the couch. He's still sleeping now. I'm shocked and full of anxiety. I don't know what to do or how to feel about this. My sister. Should I tell her? Nothing can be the same again, but she's my only family and my best friend. And my husband. Is it over? I have been so blind, now I can see everything. Of course, he's in love with her. How could I be shocked now? Can I save this marriage and my baby? I promised her a better life than the one I had. I promised her kind and loving parents. I can't let her come into this world with estranged parents and new people in their lives. What can I do? You know, the amount of stories I've read on Reddit where a spouse loves their spouse's sibling, y'all, I don't get it. And truthfully, I don't want to. I don't need to understand it. We have an update. I truly have no advice here and where this can go in a positive direction. So I'm gonna let her just tell the story. The update is, he is awake now, and I have spoken to him. He apologized for hurting me last night. He felt that he just felt despair, like he had something very beloved and important in his life, and he lost it and is now mourning it. He told me he loved me very much, and he wanted for this to work out with us and the baby. I asked him if he loved her more than me, and he said it's just a different type of love. Yeah, I'd say. I asked him if he could choose between me and her, and he said he would choose me. I asked him if he thought she was more beautiful, and he said that I'm conventionally more attractive. See, it couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. If you're in love with my sister, that's it for me. There ain't no coming back from that. I asked him if he stayed with me all these years to be near her. He said I was being unfair to him because he did love me. I asked him if he was okay with never seeing her again. He teared up, but then said he would do anything to save this marriage. He then added that he never really had a mother or a female figure in his life. That is probably why he's attached to her, because she is very warm and loving. I asked him, do you love her as a mother figure? So sorry, I have an itchy eye. Or do you want to sleep with her? He did not want to answer. I asked him if he fantasized about her while sleeping with me. He refused to answer at first, and then said, why are you doing this to yourself? Oh boy. I asked him if he will lose interest in me if she is out of our lives and it's just us. He looked like he was thinking about this for the first time, and then he said that he would choose me and the baby. He wants to start therapy and counseling because he thinks this marriage is salvageable. I would love to know what a therapist has to say about this. We have an update, you guys. Another one. Next update. We had a dinner with my sister and her fiance. My husband was unusually silent and didn't initiate any talk with my sister, and he barely looked at her. It was a nice dinner. My sister is too happy to notice anything with her engagement and trip tomorrow. Before she went, however, my husband hugged her longer than usual. He told her he was happy for her and wished her a great trip, all while hugging her. Then he held her hand and told her, I didn't congratulate you properly yesterday because I was drunk, and so he congratulated her again. He was tearing up again. You want tears? I'll give you tears. Then he hugged my sister's fiance and congratulated him. He was silent on our way home. He told me he loved me when we got back and that he will do anything to make this work and that I shouldn't make any decisions while hurt. We are starting couples therapy. I want him to be 100% honest. He asked me not to tell anyone about his confession because it meant nothing. I told him that I didn't want him around my sister anymore if I would give him a chance. He asked me how this will work when we are always together. She will suspect something, and he doesn't want me to tell her because he is embarrassed. I told him he could just minimize his interactions with her. I told him to sleep on the couch again tonight because I haven't made up my mind about my next move yet, and that until then, it is the couch for him. All right, we've made it to the final update, but let me know if you guys would be able to forgive this, or if you would try, couples therapy at least. I'm all for trying, Final update. I asked my husband for a separation because I need to be on my own to make my decision. We are also starting marriage counseling, whether we stay together or not. I want to know everything that he has been withholding from me. He thinks I'm torturing myself, but he's wrong. I'm tortured with half-truths. With marriage counseling, I'm hoping I can get to the bottom of his feelings in a safe environment. He cried when I told him I want to separate. He told me he lost everything in one day because of a drunk confession that meant nothing. He loves me and he wants to be with me. He suggested that we move away. He has had other job offers in other cities on several occasions. He said that this could be our new start. We were renovating the basement this summer to make it a guest room because our current guest room is being turned into a baby room. He will live in the basement. It has separate entrances and the mini kitchen is almost finished. I have decided not to tell my sister about any of this. This is my battle and my marriage. I love my sister so much, but I'll be very honest here. I resent her. I'm jealous of her, and I think I always have been jealous of her. She's a way better person than I am. What? Don't say that about yourself. I hate that I never had the chance to return the favor, as she was always perfect and never needed help. I resent that she isn't as angry as I am about the injustice that we had to endure. I hate that she's so good to me and my husband. I hate that he sees how much better of a person she is. And I hate that I don't blame him for loving her instead of me. Girl, when you're in therapy, I hope you work on your self-love. You gotta know your own worth, girlfriend. If you don't feel worthy and you really feel that way of yourself, how is anyone else gonna love you? You gotta love yourself before you love anybody else. I think I'm thinking of RuPaul. I want to know two things. Would you be able to forgive him for this? And would you tell your sister? Let me know. All aboard! It's hydration station time, everybody. Grab your beverage. Let me know what's in your cup. It is water in mine. You should drink some water today. Cheers.
Do you guys see somebody's nose in there? I see a little nose. Who's made her little cave? You're so cute. Okay, I'm so sorry to disrupt your peace. You disrupt mine all the time. But I love you.
Next story. Am I overreacting? I contacted the woman in my husband's phone. Yes. Yes. I love drama like this. I am so excited for this one. They should really have documentaries that just have this kind of drama. Actually, they have a show about catching cheaters. I just saw a preview for it. I, 21 female, recently discovered a suspicious contact in my husband, 23 male's phone, and I decided to contact her. This is a bit of a story, so bear with me. It started a few months ago, the shady phone business. Lock screening when I'm around, not allowing me on your phone anymore. You get the gist. About a month ago, we were running errands in a different town, and because we were nearby, we decided to pop by his grandparents' house for a visit. He called a contact named Grandma, and a different woman picked up. At first, I would have assumed a potential PSW or some sort of helper, despite them having no present issues. However, my husband reacted very weirdly and shocked and ended the call immediately without responding to the woman, and all she had said was hello. Then he got weird with me, asking who the F was that and saying, "That's so weird, I have no idea who that was." I shrugged it off, making a mental note to check it out later on, but not to ruin the day that we were having. I searched his messages. I didn't find anything. I didn't dig too far though. Yesterday, while we were traveling, he asks me for GPS directions on his phone. And I saw that same contact in his recently searched. Like in the taskbar search on your iPhone, that automatically brings up an app or contact. I inquired, asking if he had figured out who that contact was, and he said no. I then questioned, why does it show you contacted them recently? And then he freaked out on me, like he actually lost it. He was yelling, demanding that I show him where it says that, insisting that he hadn't. His defensiveness is a huge red flag to me. Yeah, girl. I asked him, so when we get back to this place, you're okay with me calling that contact? He got even more angry, but agreed nonetheless. When we arrived, I phoned the number off his phone and it rang until voicemail. What struck me was that there was no voicemail intro, no identifier, just the immediate beep to leave a message. I called the number this morning off my own phone and she picked up. She refused to give me her name even after I explained the situation that I found her contact in my husband's phone. She insists that she has been married for 20 years and has never met my husband. However, like I said, she was really rude and wouldn't even introduce herself after I spoke. She could also just be having an affair on her husband, and that's why she's so angry, because she's been caught. It was super brief, like a 5-minute call. She hung up on me after I apologized for calling. I found this really off-putting for them both to respond with aggressive defensiveness. I tried reasoning by thinking, maybe my hubby just typed his grandma's number wrong. Maybe it's only 1 digit off. But then I'm thinking that I've witnessed him contacting her before. So where did the old contact go? I'm thinking of going through the phone deeper, but I'm worried that I may be overreacting. I don't think you're overreacting. I think this is gonna play out exactly how I think it's going to. Let's find out, because we have some updates. First update. I'm on board here and I will be digging deeper into this. If this turns out the way we suspect, I will be leaving him. I have managed to find out that she lives in my town. That's all so far. I have checked out most and all of the sites recommended. Unfortunately, they are all USA ones and I am in Canada. Hey! Nothing to brag about in this story, but that's okay. Canadians all the way, right? Do we love us? So Canadian of me to think that we all love Canadians. I will still be checking other options out, and I'm still taking all of your ideas and advice. I ended up confirming his actual grandmother's phone number, which is completely different than the one at hand. He knows that I'm investigating this further, but I don't intend on telling him anything going forward. Now he's gonna be even more secretive and on top of it because he knows you're onto him. It's gonna make your job harder, girlfriend, but we can do this. I would have helped had I known. All right, final update. I traced that number to a burner phone in my town. There is absolutely nothing else attached to the phone number. That being said, I decided not to dig further into this woman. Well, I would have. She just isn't my business any further than this. Now, I didn't discover if he had been seeing her, but this did lead me to investigate further after talking with him. I first asked him to be open and transparent if he's been doing anything behind my back. He denied and promised me he wasn't. I then went through his phone. Finally, for everyone who misread my last post, this is the first time I snooped without his presence or permission. I can barely believe it, but I found multiple other women and multiple website logins. I'm heartbroken, I'm destroyed. I confronted him and he denied everything. When I showed him the proof, he broke and admitted this had all been going on for 2 years. 2 years. I'm still not sure what my next step is, but I had a calm talk with him, expressing that this could not be prepared and that we are done. He is sleeping on the couch. Would it be dramatic or overreacting to straight up ask him to leave for a bit, like to spend a night or 2 with his friends or his side chicks? I need to pack my things and clear my head. Additionally, I'm the caretaker of the house and the animals, and he has the car, so this makes more sense than me leaving for a bit. I need to pack my things. I am already speaking with my lawyer. I'm not surprised. Not surprised there's more than one, but I do think that that woman is one of them. She's a burner phone. Maybe she's cheating on her husband of 20 years. Anyways, point of the story is he's cheating on you. So run far. Run to Toronto. You're in Canada. Let's hang out. Stay classy out there, you guys. Stay sassy. I will see you.